What is up, everyone? Tis I, Z Gaming Guy, and welcome back to some Z Talks. It's been like a month since I've done this. I've been pushing it aside, kept procrastinating, but here we are. As usual, I will mention how this works quickly in case you're new here. Every week, I get you guys ask me some questions. I'll answer them in a video, but before I move on to my own question I ask you guys, I go back to the old ones and I elaborate on some of your responses to my answers. So first up is regarding when we were talking about like merch that the channel might do, like what kind of things are you guys interested in and stuff. And a lot of you said the same thing, but I'm gonna read Chris Cool24, who said, "This might sound crazy, but I'd buy a mug if you made one. Another idea, I'd buy a watch. Can you imagine telling time on a Z Gaming Guy watch with a beautiful sleek design? I'd buy two." Well, I appreciate it, and I'm glad that sounds interesting to you. Those are very oddball ones for sure, but I could see the Z Gaming Guy one working as a watch though. That'd be kind of interesting. But a lot of you also said the beanie, similar design to this, you know, where it says it somewhere, maybe on like the flap or like a hat or something, just some type of hat. And a lot of you guys said you're interested in that. But I kind of mentioned this before, I think, to like make 10 shirts, for example, is like $100, and I don't really know the how it works with like the beanies or hats and stuff, so I'd have to look more into that, but I'm gonna have to like wait on that, you know. And obviously this isn't like a huge like priority. I don't think anyone's like itching like I need my Z Gaming Guy merch, you know. It's just one of those things like it'd be cool to make, and for some of you I'm sure it'd be cool to have, but like at the end of the day, it's not like a super big deal, so it's not going to be super prioritized right now, but it's still in the mind, and it has been like forever. Next, I was asking you guys about how you felt about collabs between YouTubers, like whether it's something you enjoy to see, or if it feels too forced and kind of awkward, especially depending on if their personalities clash and whatnot. And Lisa said collabs are okay even if it's vastly different style of videos. It's irritating when it becomes the majority of their content. It's still entertaining to see how different personalities will or won't mesh. And she didn't have any collab suggestions because I was kind of asking you guys what's like a dream collab or something. I would definitely agree. Like every so often, collabs are totally fine, but like if it's a lot of the time, then it's kind of like, look, I kind of, you know, I came here for you, not this collaboration. But at the same time, like imagine someone like Rooster Teeth, where it's like 5-6 guys who always play together, and like I couldn't imagine watching one of them on their own. But again though, you came there because of all of them. It just depends on why you came there, I guess. So ultimately though, a lot of you guys are saying like collabs are fine, you know, sometimes it helps you introduce to new people. Like a lot of people came from Ryu's video to me because of my reaction, which is like a pseudo collab, I guess you could say, because we kind of talked about it and stuff. When I was asked what heroes or villains I would have to protect me versus other people, Jaden Rod said his choices would be Saitama, Universal Spider-Man, and Doomsday, which is a good point because Doomsday's, well, I mean, Doomsday's kind of unkillable, but then he's immune to whatever killed him previously, so he eventually becomes like invincible. I only recently found out how powerful Universal Spider-Man is, and I think a lot of us should know Saitama at this point, okay? I fangirl over him enough. Okay, so that does it with your guys' responses to the questions. Let's move on to the actual questions of this week. First up, we have Aristides saying, "Have you ever been into an animated show? By the way, have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? It's a really good show and I would definitely suggest you watch it." So, I think it's pretty obvious if you've watched the channel for a while that yeah, I'm in animated shows. Like I watch anime currently. This season I'm watching Goblin Slayer and How I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. And also the Bunny Girl Senpai one. That one's pretty good. Those are all three very good ones. But as for like in the past, I've always been, you know, grew up watching cartoons, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, all that stuff. I think that's a interesting childhood. Have you never been into those kind of things? And as for The Last Airbender, yes, that is a legendary show. One of my all-time favorite just animated shows, period. It's like the original Last Airbender is like perfect. Like I'm not just saying season 1, but like all together, the whole thing, it's brilliant. That's definitely one where like if you're even remotely interested in animated shows, like you have to check out The Last Airbender. Not the movie, we don't talk about that, okay? If you talk about that, permaban forever. Next up we have Jinx Reaper. This isn't so much a question as like a statement, but saying, "We need technology to imprint your signature on your arm so that we don't have to remember how to write it every time. I mean, I have better things to do than remember the closest fast food place is." And they mean like, kind of like a tattoo, but it's not visible to the naked eye. It's something that gets scanned. I don't know. That seems, that particular thing, like if they need to like hover over you to see it, first of all, they need the signature, not just to see a signature. So that doesn't really it doesn't help them, because they need your consent essentially. So like if it was something like in your hand was a chip, like this is a common one people think of, and they're like, okay, wave your hand over this to like, approve of what we're saying. So you can be like, okay, like I could see that'd be a lot simpler. There's obviously like a lot of controversy between things like that, but if like assuming humans weren't scum and there couldn't have been some like alternative way to like fuck with you with that, then I think it'd be convenient. Stuff like that would be really fine, where it's more automatic and less actions being needed. But unfortunately, people are scummy, and you'll never trust the government to put stuff in you like that. Also, Bob mentioned how one of my supporters on Patreon, I posted a picture on Patreon of me in a dress because of the skit I was recording. I was in a dress and a wig and stuff, and it was kind of low cut here, so you got to see all my beautiful chest hair. It was pretty hideous, honestly. But I shared it with all my Patreon supporters, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Next up, we have Jaboy saying, "Hey Zach, I know this might sound like a weird one, but do you think you're a sociopath? If not, who do you think is a sociopath? Also, have you watched the Shane Dawson series? Blah blah blah." I haven't watched the Shane Dawson series, but I've heard enough about it through Philip DeFranco, but like not enough to like comment on it really. And after like hearing this from Phil, I started being like, do I even know what sociopath actually means? Like, I don't even know anymore. Like, I know there's tendencies that typically correlate to sociopaths, but like, I would assume I'm not. But maybe it's one of those things like ADD. Like, growing up, ADD was just like, almost felt like the serious thing of like, whoa, like you have ADD? Like, oh my god. But now it's like pretty common. Like, it's like, it feels like a majority of people have some sort of ADD or OCD or something, It's not like as weird as it initially seemed. And I don't know, maybe sociopaths is becoming one of those things too. But I don't know, I kind of doubt it. Right now I look at it as like, no, that's for like a certain type of people that you don't typically see. So I don't think I am. Right now, at least consciously I'm not. Maybe when in my sleep I become one. And I don't think I know anyone like that. Next up we have Ray Ray, and since this is kind of a long one, I'm going to summarize it, but it'll be on screen as usual. He's essentially saying like, have I ever been so hyped for something, but then betrayed once I started, finding out more about it, or as I finally got to play it or see it or something, because he was disappointed with the Captain Marvel stuff that he's been seeing recently. And absolutely, sometimes in the back of your mind, you probably know it's going to be a shit show, but you're really hoping it's not. Like, you're forcing yourself to be hyped and excited and optimistic about it because of how much you love a particular thing. For example, like a lot of us have played Elder Scrolls Skyrim, right? I'm assuming a lot of us have. And I gotta imagine at one point or another, you had to have thought, like, man, if only like I could do this co-op with my friends. That'd be so fun. And then they announced, Elder Scrolls Online. And I was like, okay, well, it's more like an MMO, so it's going to be a little clunkier, but it's still, you can play with your friends, so maybe it's cool. And they do first person, so it feels like Skyrim, right? And in the back of my mind, I had a feeling, I've never been into MMOs combat, it just feels so like all you do is dump your abilities and wait for cooldowns to come off and attack with your basic in the meantime. Obviously there's a certain order to use your abilities and stuff, but it feels so like, I don't know, unengaging. But I remained hyped anyway. I was like, man, I can play with all my friends. We get to go dungeons and stuff. And I played the beta that came out that one time. And I was like, not into it. I was like, but this is the beginning of the game. Like, everyone says MMOs are like this. In like, 2 to 4 hours, you'll understand it and they'll throw you into some fun stuff. So I got it, and I spent like a ton of money to get all the expansions and everything because I waited a really long time. And I was just forcing myself to chug through it, and I was like 10 hours in, I'm like, fuck, this is boring. I cannot get into this. And I was so sad because I really wanted it to be fun. But man, it is just not fun. I'm sorry if you're into that game. It's just not my thing. I need more control over what's going on than just, I don't know, like, you can't dodge swords, you can't do your typical, like, go around or go and hit, back up. Like, if they're locked onto you when they attack, doesn't matter what happens, you're gonna get hit, and it's just like not fun. Okay, and last question is from Jake. He says, the classic question: you get sucked into a video game of your choice, you die and you're done for, blah blah blah. What do you choose? And I think I might have gotten asked this before, but since I can't remember, I'll answer it again anyway. Let's get sucked into the Playboy Mansion game. No downsides, except for STDs, I guess. No, but seriously, like, when you really think about the question, you start to realize how much, you know, video game worlds suck. Like, I love the Mass Effect series, Dragon Age series too, just those 2 BioWare series. But, like, in reality, being in there would be terrible. Like, having to deal with the Reaper invasion, or having to deal with the Blight, like, no way, no fucking thanks. I'd rather just go into a moderately safe place and become like a wizard or something. And so obviously, like, Skyrim was another one that came to mind, but I don't know, with all these dragons roaming around, like, before you, like, get yourself to be a, you know, because you can't just assume you're going to go in there and be the ultimate badass. Like, you're going to go in there a normal person, you got to do your studies and all that stuff, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Like, that's how I always look at it. Like, you're not always going to just be the chosen one. You're NPC number 432, so remember that. But I guess if I had to choose something, I'd probably go with Pokemon. And, like, while I think Pokemon's like me as great as you'd initially believe, okay, like, imagine real life, right? And if you've seen Pokemon, you'll understand. Imagine real life, and you see Ash getting electrocuted by Pikachu, which is capable of putting out who knows how many tens of thousands of volts. He's not surviving, I'm sorry. Like, I know in the show, he's just like, oh, that was inconvenient, or Charizard blasts him with fire, and he's like, well, like, I'm just kind of singed, and that's annoying. You're dead, in reality. These are goddamn animals that you're supposed to tame and have fight. But, I mean, I guess they're supposed to be more intelligent, but regardless, if you know, catch yourself out in the wild and there's a gang of Rattatas, they're gonna fuck you up. And so it's a lot scarier than I think you'd initially believe, but regardless, you know, you can go in and you're just as, you know, likely as anyone to become the best. So there isn't such thing as like a chosen one in Pokemon, which I like. You know, you just go, well, except for fucking Ash, apparently, who can just stumble across every legendary in the universe, but he doesn't catch them, so it doesn't matter. Catch him, Ash, catch him. Shut the fuck up, alright? I didn't mean for that pun. Anyway, I think that'd be cool because you don't feel like NPC 432. You feel like, you know, everyone else, and you have a good shot at stuff. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. What about you guys? Like, I'm definitely interested because that, like you said, is the ultimate question for gamers. So where would you want to go into? Okay, so that's all of your questions, and we're going to talk about something somewhat serious, and I've mentioned this throughout my YouTubing career, and I'm going to say it again because someone commented this in the last video. And look, if you're watching this video, I'm not shitting on you. Maybe you're new and you don't know, but I'm shitting on you just a little bit of trickle of dookies on your face after this, okay? When people come over to me and say, play more Super Mario Maker, that is making me want to do the opposite. Like, call it childish, whatever you want to do, but like, when you're doing something because you want to do it for them, you know what I mean? But then they get mad that you're not doing it enough or something, you're kind of like, well, fuck you, I don't even want to do this. Like, I'm doing it for you, you know? That's just sometimes how I feel. So while that's not going to stop people asking for more Mario Maker, even sarcastically, people will still say it, you know, which is fine. Like, I get it. It's not something I want to do forever, okay? And if you're, like I said, if you're new and you're watching this for the first time, and maybe you didn't know, I'd much rather be a channel just known for everything, known for just gaming anything and just having fun. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be like the old school Let's Play channels where you sit down, it's like you're friends with this YouTuber, and you go on this journey together through a game, and while there's periodically other random titles, you know, like that are just funny to watch, like the Geometry Dash or the Mario Makers and Guts and Glory, stuff like that. Like, just be having a good laugh, you know, a little quick 15-20 minute break, but then at the same time, like I said, going on these long journeys with someone. Like Subnautica was a great example. Like, for everyone who stuck through with that, like, that was super memorable. Like, granted, I know that some of you were just watching just to watch and you're just being nice, but I still think that I really felt like we were resonating, if that makes sense. Like, all of us collectively together were just having a blast and couldn't wait to, you know, see more. And you simply don't get that with Mario Maker. Mario Maker, you just go in, you do the same shit, get to the goal, and bada bing, bada boom. I gotta be funny, I gotta be mad, I gotta hate moles, you know, like, well, I do fucking hate moles, don't get me wrong. I'm not acting there, I really do hate those goddamn moles. Just even more genuine than what I let off sometimes. I've mentioned this before, but there's some videos I haven't put out because I was getting so genuinely mad at the game that I just stopped recording. Like, something was like really bullshit. You know, maybe I was like 4 levels into my super expert run, and it was no skip, and I came across a level where it was just so dumb. Like, it was so badly designed to just be a piece of shit that I just said, fuck this, and I threw my controller, and I just turned everything off, and I just, like, took a walk or something. Like, and I had the intention of coming back, but then I'd sit down, look at it, and I'd be like, I don't want to play this game right now. I don't enjoy it. There's no satisfaction. With that said, while I shit on Mario Maker all the time, I do admit that there's some very fun levels out there. Unfortunately, I just don't get enough of them. It's usually the really bad ones. But there are a lot of really cool levels, and I like the troll levels that are actually, like, intelligently trolly. Not the ones where it's like spam a bunch of enemies at you. Those are just dumb. But the ones where, like, it plays mind games with you, and you have to, like, it's like you're playing chess with the creator, trying to think ahead. You know, like, those are really cool. For one, Nintendo doesn't fucking pay you unless you sign up your channel thing, but then you're not allowed to upload things that aren't Nintendo. Or you can do things where you upload the individual videos to Nintendo, but it takes like 3 to 5 days worth of process, in which case, like, your spike in views has already passed, so there's like no point in doing it. So the way Nintendo does it is really dumb, and I hate dealing with them. Sometimes they just block your videos outright. So staying away from them would be beneficial as a YouTuber in terms of, like, revenue. But also, I just enjoy other things more. There's actually a game that's in, like, pre-alpha testing, and I've signed up for, and I had to sign a disclosure where I can't record or talk about it or anything. But, like, I'm thinking about, like, really putting emphasis into this game and trying to draw a crowd from there. And if I can, and if it, like, rivals Mario, then I'm just gonna outright stop playing Mario and have that be my new thing where I upload somewhat regularly. So with that little bit out of the way, making myself very clear, very transparent, and look, some of you are gonna think, oh, you're just bitching, like, you should just be grateful that you're here, and, like, I am, trust me. But I don't think I don't notice, like, the decline and just the, you know, waviness of the channel's success, you know, and it heavily relies on Mario, which sucks because I don't really want to play it, you know. So that's the predicament I'm in. And if I can get myself to be known for any other game, I'm gonna take it. And my question to you guys, and this is a very important question, is if I was to, like, focus heavily on a different game, what would you want that to be? Or even if it's like a genre of games, you know, and don't say Fortnite, because Fortnite, no, I'm sorry, I can't. So Fortnite and Mario Maker, I'm just like, no. But, like, if there's a different game, series, or genre, for example, if you were like, you should be the horror channel guy or something, like, what would it be? I'm just kind of curious, like, what stands out to you as a game where, like, man, I could keep coming back and watching this. I know some of you are going to say, like, oh, I just like to watch you for, you know, being you. And trust me, I appreciate it. That's, like, ideal situation where someone comes to watch someone for them. That's ideal. Absolutely. And I am very humbled, and I'm stoked about that. But in reality, that's not going to grab everyone's attention, and at least not initially. So what would you suggest? Anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. If there's anything you wanted to answer that I talked about previously, go ahead and write them in the comments. I will be reading all of them, and I'll be featuring some of them in the next episode. So go ahead and feel free to say something in the comments. But as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.